Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the live streaming part of the formulajonah YouTube channel, and we are back for another race week. It's time for the 24 hours of Nürburgring in 2025, the second of the big 24-hour triple header. So, let's get into it, but first, let me introduce my co-host, of course, David, my good friend. You're joining me once again for another live stream. We're coming back from a very busy week at the 24 hours of Le Mans, but it's time for more racing action. How are you doing as we head into the, I believe, 53rd edition of the 24 hours of Nürburgring?
Well, I'm still recovering after a crazy 24 hours of Le Mans, and then all of a sudden another 24-hour race. So,
Here we are.
and this is just the second of three in a row. So yeah, I'm excited. It's a different one. It's a completely different type of race. No hypercars, no LMP2s, only GTs. Um, a really difficult track. And last year we got a race that was really special in the way that most of the race didn't even happen. So I'm excited. I'm hoping for a clean race. Normally Nürburgring makes things up, but hoping for at least a clean race and no red flags for 16 hours.
Yes, last year we got that shortened period with the fog rolling in. It was kind of a disappointing end to what was looking to be a very, very fascinating race. We'll go into that and much more as we prepare for this 2025 event. So, a couple of things, viewers. Currently, we are on Wednesday, so we're recording this on Wednesday, June 18th. The race is this weekend, starting on the 21st, Saturday, that is, and going until Sunday, June 22nd. Um, this year, we're preparing for the event with a preview and prediction. So that's what we're going to be covering in this live stream here. David and me are going to be going through our just breakdown of the upcoming event. And then we're also going to be going into our top five overall predictions for the SP9 category. These are the cars that are battling for the overall win, of course. And then, of course, this weekend we are planning many more live streams compared to last year. I think last year we did one, maybe two. I think we did just one live stream. I can't remember exactly. But this year we're gonna do at least three. We got a starting grid live stream. We got a watch party live stream for the start and for the halfway point. Yeah, we got a lot of content coming up for the 24 hours of Nürburgring, of course, which is a great race. And for some, this is the most challenging endurance race on the endurance racing schedule in a year.
Yeah, it's a huge race, and we really stepped it up this year in terms of content for all
True.
these 24-hour races. So, yeah, and a funny thing is, some of the drivers that we just saw racing at Le Mans, and not a 24-hour race, a tough 24-hour race, they are also doing the Nürburgring, and after that, even doing Spa as well. So that's three 24-hour races in a row for the drivers as well. That's draining. I mean, that's so tough to do. Nürburgring is such a difficult track to race at with so many different cars. Like we're talking hundreds of cars on track,
Right.
so many different classes, and a huge track. It takes 9 minutes to do a lap at the Nürburgring. So it's a completely different race. It's so much tougher in different ways. Le Mans is tough in one way, Nürburgring is tough in a different way. And this is really the GT World Cup in some way. Like this is where GT drivers really make their mark and show how great they are. A great example is Kevin Estre showing how to move a Porsche through the field. Something he also did at Le Mans, but in a GT car at Nürburgring. Um, he had a crazy start some years ago. So yeah, that this is where GT drivers really make their money, and it's a great race to watch if you're into GT racing.
For sure. And another factor we should mention as well, David, you alluded to this just a moment ago, that this race has zero prototypes out on track. So no hypercars, no LMP2 cars, not even any LMP3 entries. These are it's a different type of race, compared to what we're used to, like you mentioned. And the GT3 cars, the FIA homologated GT3s, those are going to be battling for the overall win. And we'll go into some of those entries throughout this live stream that we're doing. But yeah, there's a lot to go into this, a lot to look forward to. But before we kind of go further into that, I want to mention a big thank you to everybody that is joining this live stream. Send in your comments for any questions you have, any thoughts you have. We want to make sure that we aren't just talking between ourselves, me and David, but we're also talking with you. You know, we're interacting. This is a big community, and we want to make sure that you're included in whatever we're doing here. So yeah, any questions? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of questions, we got one from Jules who asks, will the Glickenhouse be here this year? And David and I were talking about this just a moment ago, but unfortunately, Glickenhouse will not be here at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring in 2025. Now, just to be clear, this is not the first time that Glickenhouse has pulled out of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring and then come back later in the future. This notably happened, I believe, in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, when Glickenhouse were running two cars at Le Mans. They decided to forfeit their entry at the N24 and race at Le Mans exclusively to focus on that. And so they missed the 2023 event. They were there in 2022 and in previous years, but then they came back in 2024, most recently last year. So it's possible that even though Glickenhouse isn't here this year, there's a very good chance that they could come next year in 2026. We'll see how that goes from the American brand, who are looking to they're looking at other things right now, including the debut of their brand new SCG 007 Le Mans Hypercar Road version for customer use. So a lot to look forward to when it comes to Glickenhaus.
Yeah, certainly. And of course, it's sad to see these boutique kind of teams like Glickenhaus leaving a race. Um, Something we saw in what we know more of WEC with
True.
Isola Franschini and Glickenhaus itself as well. Um, but yeah, we'll see them in different ways. Nürburgring is exactly a race where we'll see so many different cars. Even Dacia Logans racing. I mean, so many different cars racing, touring cars, GTs. So if you're into these small, weird teams and cars that we normally don't see racing or cars that you've never seen before, Nürburgring is a really good place to go because there is so many cars.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's the beauty of this race, that there's cars that we don't really see out in the other races like Le Mans, for example. You mentioned the Dacia Logan. You know, that's a car that of course doesn't race at Le Mans. That would be quite interesting if it did, but it's fun to see it here. I think there's one entry on the grid, one Dacia on the grid, which makes the Romanian manufacturer return to the grid. So yeah, it's definitely a very interesting thing heading into this race. Now, David, I want to get your opinion on this because this is one of the big factors heading into 2025. So, the 24 Hours of Nürburgring does see the loss of Glickenhaus, but it does see the introduction of Ford. Ford is coming back to the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. We actually made a video quite a while back on Ford, and they're bringing three of the Mustang entries. Ford is a former winner of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. The last time they won was in 1987. But David, as a fan of Ford, as a fan of Mustang, are you excited to see this car finally take on the 24 Hours of Nürburgring? And more importantly, how do you think they'll do?
Well, it's always nice to see Ford returning to racing. If it's in hypercar at Le Mans, or if it's in GT racing at Nürburgring, it's always nice to see them fighting for victories and for the overall victory of these big races. Um, we know the Ford Mustang from GT racing at IMSA and WEC. It's a great
True.
car with a lot of success. They've really nailed it this year in terms of pace and reliability. Something they will need at Nürburgring for it to win. I don't know if we'll see them in contention this year already, or if we have to wait a year again, because of course we're used to seeing them race with one team in WEC and a different team in IMSA. Always different setups and different people working on the car. That's the same thing here at Nürburgring. It's different people, it's different setups. It's a new track, something they haven't tested out before. So
True.
I'm interested to see where the pace is, but certainly they can get a great result. If that's the win, I'm doubtful, but I mean, it's 24 hours. never say never. And Nürburgring is really known for mixing up the fields. So I mean, I wouldn't say it can't win, but it's I see other cars having a bigger chance than Ford.
Especially the Germans. We got Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Audi, etc. They're all on the grid, and they've proven before that they can win. Ferrari are gunning for their second overall victory as well. Lamborghini are here, etc. So Ford, this is definitely a learning race for them, and I think you mentioned as well that we have one team running the Ford Mustangs over in the WEC, two others over in IMSA. We also have another team, another different team running the entries here at the Nürburgring. That's Team HRT. And so they are joining this event with three cars, the 63, the 64, and the 65. Love the number allocations as well. That's great to see. And then Ford will also be back next week for the 24 hours of Spa as well. We'll get into them in our Spa breakdown and all that sort of thing. But speaking of the entries, we should probably go into a little bit more in detail about who's kind of on the grid this year, because I know that a lot of people are wondering what's the grid like. So this year we have 141 entries on the grid. Yeah, I know, quite a bit. But a lot of those entries are different kinds of cars. We have the Porsche Cayman 718, which is a road car. There's even a Golf on the grid. There's actually three, I believe, Volkswagen Golf. But there's a few different entries, just across the grid. What me and David are kind of going to be focusing on throughout this video is the SP9 category. That's the category where these cars are going to be battling for the overall victory. Those are the GT cars, the main attraction. It's kind of like the hypercar class of the Le Mans 24 hour. Le Mans always has like the hypercars battling for the overall victory. That's kind of the main attraction. Same kind of goes for the GT3 SP9 category here at the N24. So, I want to go through a few of the brands that are on the grid. David, we mentioned German brands. This is a German race. Who's there that's from Germany that's on the grid?
Well, we of course have the last year's winner of Audi
Mm-hmm.
with their old Audi R8 GT3 Evo. Then we also have Porsche, another huge brand, Mercedes as well, and the most winning team, the most successful team here in Nürburgring is BMW. They
Right.
also return with a car. So yeah, a lot of German cars. Of course, a race in Germany. And normally we see these German manufacturers really boosting our GT3s and boosting in general in the motorsports. So yeah, last year's winners and Audi. The year before that, it was a Ferrari mixing it up. So of course, a lot of German cars wanting to win at home, but a lot of different teams as well, picking the different manufacturers, and I see them being strong favorites as well.
I completely agree. And yeah, you mentioned we have a couple German brands on the grid this year. All four of those that you've mentioned have won. You also pointed out that BMW have the most victories here, which is correct. I mean, this is a brand that has had a lot of success at the N24. So great to see so many German brands on the grid. But we also have four other manufacturers gunning for overall victory. So four German manufacturers, four other brands from other countries. Italy is represented by two brands, Ferrari and Lamborghini, are on the grid. This year, however, Lamborghini is actually the manufacturer that has more entries than Ferrari. Usually, it's the other way around when we come to series like Le Mans or the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Ferrari just has one car on the grid, so they are gonna have a very hard time, I feel, of taking victory. Lamborghini have five Hurricanes on the grid, which is a lot for the Italian mark. Aston Martin, we haven't talked a lot about them. They are also on the grid with, I believe, four entries, four Vantage GT3s. Three of those are from Valkenhurst Racing, and those are the entries that are going to be mainly going for the overall victory. And then, of course, David and I already mentioned that Ford is also on the grid with three entries. So those are the brands. There's eight manufacturers that are going to be going for the overall victory. As we mentioned before, Glickenhouse is unfortunately not here. They weren't a part of the SP9 category last year. They were actually a part of a category called SPX, I believe. And that class was for kind of special entries. So yeah, I think I think that's all the entries. I think that's actually more entries than last year in terms of manufacturers. The only new addition to the grid compared to last year is Ford, of course. But unfortunately, we don't see other GT3 cars like the Chevrolet Corvette, for example, the Lexus RCF GT3. The Lexus, I believe, did used to race here at the Nürburgring, but it's no longer here. And I think that's pretty much it. But I do want to point out, and David, you already mentioned this earlier, that it is great to see that Audi are still represented on the grid. This is a brand that's not present over in series such as IMSA or the World Endurance Championship at all. But Audi are still here, even though they've really ended their program, their R8 LMS GT3 program. But Audi won last year, and now they're looking to go for it again. And Audi, I believe, have 4 entries on the grid, one of which is the number one car. And I think we should definitely go into that entry a little bit later too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last year, of course, was a different race, with a lot of it being suspended on the red flags,
Right.
and you could say that it was like almost being at the right place at the right time for that Audi R8 winning the race. But yeah, Audi, of course, a huge brand in terms of racing. We've seen them at the mall for many years, winning, and like the R8 GT3 car is a classic in terms of GT racing. I
It
mean, at
is.
Spa, they've been really successful. Here at Nürburgring, also really successful, and it's the oldest car out on the grid in terms of GT3s. It's a customer injury. It's teams buying the car. Audi has nothing to do with it other than providing the car. Um, so it's interesting to see how long it can be competitive with these newer GT3s arriving at track. But yeah, they did it last year. I don't see why they can't do it this year. They're not my favorite to do it, but I can't. I mean, if you won it last year, you can also win it this year.
That's very true. And I mean, we also mentioned the fact that they the last year they kind of got lucky, considering what happened. And I think that's a good transition point because I want to ask you because I think David, you've actually watched the 24 Hours Nurburgring longer than I have, so you have you have more experience than I do on that front for sure. Um, this event, this upcoming, oh, I just lost David. I wonder what happened there. Hold on a second, viewers. Just trying to get David back in here. I wonder what happened. Sometimes that happens with this app that we're using. I don't know why. Just he just disappeared from me, but hopefully we can get him back in. Hopefully there's no like power issues or something. There we go. All right, you're back in. Sorry about that. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened, but
Yeah, I think I got kicked, but it's okay.
oh, okay.
Um,
This app, I don't
what
like
were
it
you?
sometimes.
Yeah. You were asking me something.
Yes, I was asking you something. Sorry, we got cut off by this app. But anyway, I wanted to ask you about the weather because
Yeah.
last year, as you know, as we were live streaming during the point, the fog rolled in. We got red flagged, and I don't know how many hours were we postponed. I think we only raced for like 8 hours, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 8 hours because for the rest of the race, it was on the red flag, and then they
Right.
did two laps on the safety car thing to like end the race. Um, so it was a disappointing race for racing fans,
Sure.
and for us also wanting to do content on it. Of course, it's difficult to say anything when there's not anything happening. And I just remember keep on getting new updates, updating time at 9 a.m. in the morning and
Right.
stuff like that. And it was always postponed and postponed and postponed and never really got started again. So yeah, weather is a huge part of Nürburgring, the Nürburgring 24. We've seen this before where fog and thunderstorms and rain have caused the race to be suspended under red flags.
Right.
Um, of course, we hope to see the race go clean through, and we just had a Le Mans where we only had 40 minutes of safety car and almost no time on the full course yellows. So maybe if they take that over to the Nürburgring, that could be nice. But the Nürburgring and the Nordschleife is in a different part of the world. It's in South is in Germany, southern Germany, and in a hilly area, forest, known for having bad weather, rainy weather, foggy weather, and it often is a part. It has a part to play in the race. So, and also an unfortunate part where fog makes it so that the race can't continue for safety reasons.
Right.
But it's not something we can say. Okay, every year is going to be like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. So far over Europe, it has been great weather, so like sunny weather. So let's hope that continues. Also into the weekend.
Yeah, and I mean the interesting thing too is that um, the 24 hours of Nürburgring this year is on a different schedule compared to last year. Last year in 2024, we were covering at the end of May. Now we're at the end of June, so a month basically later for the 24 hours of Nürburgring this year. And I wonder if that's going to have a little bit of a difference. I wonder if that's going to affect the weather in some way. Like, I mean, I don't know how it exactly it is because I'm over in America, so I'm only guessing at this point. But I wonder if there's
Just
a difference.
I just looked it up. There's 0% chance of rain and around 25 degrees for the race, sunny weather. So we shouldn't see any problems in terms of weather if this forecast holds up.
Well, that's
But
good.
yeah, that's true. It's a different time of year this year, and I think for Nürburgring, of course, they also want a clean race, and they want a race that's going through and not staying on the red flags for a long amount of time. And with it happening two times within a short period of time, um, I think Nürburgring knows that they have a problem with the weather at that time of year. So maybe that's why they changed it. But yeah, I hope to see a lot of clean racing, and I hope to see if they have to stop the races on the safety car for cars crashing and not because of the fog and safety reasons in or other weather problems. So yeah, I think we'll have a clean race. I think we'll have a race with lots of overtakes and not that much time on the red flags.
That's my hope as well. And I think that we're heading into a race where a lot of folks are kind of thinking about the weather, and I think with my race preview that I'm going to put out in video format, I usually don't put out like a breakdown of what the weather is looking like, but I think this year for this event, I'm going to because it is such a big factor heading into this race. Reason being because of what happened last year. The weather affected it so much to the point where it was really disappointing for racing fans. And I mean, I'm just going to be truthful here. I was not happy with the event last year. I was very disappointed. And that wasn't because of the organization of the event. That wasn't because of the event itself. That was just because of the circumstances that happened, which prevented racing action out on track. So the only thing I was frustrated with was Mother Nature. But I think that it's going to be interesting this year. If we are expecting a little rain, that's fine. If there is rain or if there is some sort of weather thing, that's fine too, as long as it doesn't impact the racing. Like in terms of like red flagging the race for like 16 hours. That's not the greatest situation for sure. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. A lot to keep an eye on for sure. Heading into this race in terms of the skies and what they're looking like. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we mentioned GT3 entries, David. We mentioned a lot of the cars that are going to be on the grid. BMW looking strong. They're looking for their, I think, I want to say like over 20 wins they have at the 24 hours in Nürburgring. I'm going off of just my own thoughts of what I remember. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So we should probably talk about this event more in detail. This is a 24-hour endurance race, and I want to mention and highlight that this is actually the newest 24-hour endurance race of the three this month. So we have the 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Nürburgring, and next week 24 hours of Spa. The Nürburgring event was actually established in 1970, so fairly recently. We mentioned earlier that this is the 53rd edition of this event, so it hasn't been going on for that long, you know, in terms of Spa, Le Mans, who have been around for over 100 years. Um, Nürburgring is still in its infant stages. Not even infant stages, but more of just like it's still kind of in a situation where it's not old. You know, it's not an old race like Spa or Le Mans. That's what I'm trying to say here. So we'll see how it goes. Very very interesting, but a very exciting event nevertheless. David, we mentioned earlier that BMW have the most wins here, and really the event has been dominated by German brands.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, you should almost think that it's a German race, and of course, Germans have been known for making great cars, and in motorsports in general, German manufacturers has been dominating. We see this at two tracks just in general, Daytona and Le Mans, Porsche being the dominant team, the dominant manufacturer. So. Um, but yeah, last for the last few years, we've seen it mixed up. Lamborghini had a lot of pace last year, and they
Hmm.
look to have a great car this year as well. Ferrari won 2 years ago, so it's it's not like uncertain, but with so many cars here, and with of course the history of BMW winning a lot, Audi winning a lot, Mercedes winning a lot.
Right.
This is a track for those kind of teams, and in GT racing in general. Mercedes, Audi, and BMW, Porsche. I mean, we are also talking about the teams, Manthey Racing. Look at what they did at Le Mans. They just outperformed the others on strategy, something you have to have nailed down also here at Nürburgring. I'm not already talking about win predictions, but they are up there just because they know how to win this race. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of German cars here and a lot of a lot of experience on track. And yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lamborghini winning. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ferrari winning either. Aston Martin have always also shown great pace here, so it's not something you could say set in stone. But yeah, for sure they have been dominating for a long time.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think that all four of the brands that are of based in Germany have won here. In fact, there's actually a fifth classified German brand that has actually won here. That's Opel, back in 2003. However, that was when they were owned by Chevy and GM, I believe. So if you want to call it German, you can. It's up to you. But I think that I'm just looking at the entry. I'm just looking at the manufacturers here. BMW has 20 overall victories, just to confirm that. In fact, David, you mentioned earlier that Manthey Racing know how to win here. Well, it's also important for me to mention that Manthey Racing are the most successful team at this event as well, with I believe 6 overall victories. Actually seven. Sorry, my bad. 7 overall victories. With I believe their last coming in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, with the Grello Porsche. Um, and they are tied with Phoenix
So
Racing.
yeah.
And Phoenix, of course, a team that won last year, of course, with Sheriff Sport, and so it's definitely those two teams have really dominated this event. But we talked about German brands. American brands have actually done well here, and with Ford coming back in 2025, there's a good chance that they could win again. You know, we mentioned that it's kind of unlikely considering the competition and considering that Ford is still kind of new to the 24 hours of Nürburgring, but in general, American brands have been very successful. Ford has taken overall victory, I think 5 times, if I'm not mistaken, and Chrysler has also taken victory here 3 times with the Viper. I believe their last win was in 2002. I want to say 2002 with the GTR, the Viper GTR. And so American brands have won here as well. David, you pointed out that Ferrari have won here as well 2 years ago. They took their first win. And Lamborghini, who are here in this event, they could be going for a win in 2025. They genuinely have pace, especially with those apt sports line cars. So I don't know. There's a lot of brands that could win this event for sure. And there's a lot of brands that have been successful in the past.
Yeah, it's an incredible difficult race to predict. A lot of things can happen. I mean, last year, of course, the race was stopped and red flag caused Audi to win. And we had a huge crash with the BMW with Kevin van der Linde
Right.
crashing in. at the out of the race and start of the race. So a huge favorite for the race, of course. So a lot of things can happen. It's so close with these GT3 cars. So it's all about strategy. It's all about a bit of luck as well, and just staying out of trouble for this race. In terms of when we looked at Le Mans, it was 24-hour sprint, and
Right.
the cars were gunning for it right off the bat. At Nürburgring, it's kind of different. It's a track of survival for the first like many hours. And then if you get into the last 2 hours, the last hour of the race, and you're still in the position where you could actually win the race, then this is the sprint part. Then you're going for it. Then you're taking risk. But up until that point, it's all about staying out of trouble, staying on the lead lap, staying close around to the leader, and just having the best strategy. Then you're in a great position to win this race. It's completely different from Le Mans. Le Mans has changed a lot over the years,
It
and
has,
it's
yeah.
now a 24-hour sprint. Something that started in 2013, really with the LMP1s, the Audis, where the reliability was so strong in the cars that they could just go 110% throughout the 24 hours. That's something we can't see with these GT3 cars at Nürburgring because there's so many other cars at track as well. So you really have to nurse the car through until the end of the race, and it's a different style of racing, and it's a different approach, and it's really difficult to master. But yeah, we mentioned it, Manti Racing, a team that I really think will have a great result here, and Phoenix as well, showing that they know how to win this race. I saw a post on the Nürburgring 24's website
Mm.
that the team owner of Manti was out and saying that Nürburgring belongs to Manti Racing. It's their track. So they
I
are
can see that.
confident they can win, and I see that happening as well. I mean, they just came off a Le Mans victory. Why not put in the double and do Nürburgring as well?
They could definitely do that. I mean, the fan favorite Grello Porsche is on the grid, and I think that we've both predicted them to finish towards the front for sure. So we'll actually, you know what? This is a good time to mention that. This is a good transition point to our predictions. So we should probably bring that in. I think that we should probably mention what we have planned in terms of who we think is going to be taking the overall victory and our top five in the 24 hours of Nürburgring. If you're cool with that, David, I guess we can move into that.
I definitely am. Definitely am.
Alrighty, well, let's go into that. So, I'm just gonna quickly remove this Nürburgring poster here that we have, and I'm gonna put in our predictions in just a second. So, I'll hand things over to you, David. Who do you think is going to finish in the top five of the 24 hours of Nürburgring in 2025?
Well, I mentioned it before. I believe that the German brands are really strong here at track. The records show it as well, and I support it. If you look at my top,
No! Oh no! We just lost David again. Oh my goodness, I hate this app sometimes. I'll have to figure this out. Maybe get a different app for next time. No. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second, viewers. This app hates you, David. I'm so sorry.
I don't know what it is, but well, we struggle with it sometimes, and yeah, it's good that I can get back in.
I'll look into getting another app for the future because it's annoying. But hey, we're fine. Anywho, before the this wonderful broadcast service that we have here interrupted you again, um, why don't you go through your top five if you don't mind?
Yeah, just as I said before, I believe in the German brands here at Nürburgring, and my top five shows it. In fifth place, I put the 98 Rove Racing BMW, a unfortunate race for them last year, crashing out of the race in the early part of the race. But I believe
True.
that car is a favorite for the race. They were leading the race at that point when they crashed out. So yeah, I see them having strong pace this year as well. In fourth place, I put last year's winner, the Audi number one, Zero Sport Phoenix. I see them being up there, but with Audi, The Audi R8 being such an old car, I see that being a struggle for them. Not having a new car, not having new technology. And I believe that R8 Evo is on his last rows, like doing his last races now, and I think it's the end of an era for that car. And of course, I hope to see Audi come back with a new car, but I think this is one of the last races for them. In third place, I put the number 16 Porsche, same team, the Sheriff Sport Phoenix also, but the Porsche. I believe Porsche is going to have a strong car for Nürburgring this year. They normally have, and they were also in contention last year.
Right.
Um, and I see them edging out the Audis this year. In second place, I put the pole sitting team, the number 17 Get Speed Mercedes. They have pole position for the race. I don't think it's the number 17 car in specific.
I think it's the 14, if I'm.
It's the 14 car, but the same team, showing that Mercedes have the pace to win this race. And I believe they'll be just about there for it, but finishing behind the number one, which is the 911 Manthey Porsche. I think they'll do the double. I think Manthey have shown that they know how to win 24-hour races. They have won here in Nürburgring so many times, and Kevin Estre in that car knows how to overtake in this track, on track, off track. He knows how to make his way through the field, and I believe that Manthey have the strategy down. They have a fast car, and that and reliability as well. So I see them doing the double. Maybe looking for a treble, but so far just a double.
Well, I like that prediction a lot. Grello Porsche on top, a fan favorite, of course, the 911. That's that Porsche from Manthey Racing, of course. I like to see that Get Speed is up there as well. You've predicted that car. That number 17 in particular, as you can see the left-hand side of your screen, viewers, it has a beautiful livery, the purple and pink style that it's got. So I would love to see that car on the podium as well. And yeah, I think that you got a good prediction here for the entries. Yeah. So with that, I guess I'll move into my prediction for the 24 hours of Nürburgring in 2025. I've gotten a little bit different, I think, and it's not a German brand taking the victory. Let's just say that. For me, I'm going to go with this. I've predicted the number 64 Team HRT Ford to finish in fifth. I do think the Ford are going to have a very strong car here, and on their debut, they're going to get at least a P5. I think that would be satisfactory. In fourth, I've predicted the number 98 Rove BMW. That's the only M4 on the grid to finish in the top five in fourth position. Then I have the number one Scherer Sport Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2. That's the car, of course, that won last year. And I think that this car has a really good chance of taking a good result. Remember, it has one of the strongest driver lineups on the grid as well. Luca Ludwig, who is the son of three-time overall Le Mans and N24 winner Klaus Ludwig. Then we also have Christopher Haase, who's won this event twice before. And finally, we have former F1 driver and three-time overall winner here, Marcus Winkelhock. So Winkelhock, of course, leading the Grand Prix, I believe at the Nürburgring in 2007 on his only appearance in F1, only appearance in F1, took the lead of the race in that rainy event, I believe, at the Nürburgring during the European Grand Prix. And he does well at the Nürburgring. As I said, he's taken three overall victories in the past. So I think that he'll do well. And I think that Scherer Sport have a good possibility of getting a top three. In second, runner-up once again, just like last year, I'm going to go with the number 911 Porsche from Manthey Racing, the Grello fan favorite entry. I feel they're going to finish on the podium at least in second position, if not the win. Of course, David, you predicted the Grello Porsche to win, so we both predicted them to finish in either positions, one or two. And finally, probably my boldest prediction of this video, I guess. Not as bold as the Glickenhouse prediction from last year, thank goodness. But in first, I've gone for a first ever win for Lamborghini, and I've predicted the number 27 Red Bull Apt Motorsport Huracan GT3 to win this race. That's that number 27 Lamborghini to finish in first. That car also has a very strong driver lineup. You have racers like Jordan Pepper, I believe, Mirko Bortolotti as well. Mirko, of course, is a driver for the SC63. He is not racing the SC63 over at Watkins Glen because he's racing this car at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. So great to see him here at this event. And of course, he's a DTM winner as well. You also have drivers like Daniel Hunkadea in that car. Hunkadea, of course, a very successful racer in GT competition. He's racing a Lamborghini here at the Nürburgring, and he's in that 27 car with Jordan Pepper and Mirko Bortolotti. So a very strong driver lineup for the 27, and I feel that they have a very good chance of taking the win here today, or in here this weekend. But yeah, those are our predictions for the 24 Hours of Nürburgring in 2025. David, you've predicted the Grello Manthey Racing Porsche to finish with the win. That would be their first win since 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And for me, I've predicted a first win for Lamborghini, giving an Italian manufacturer their second victory at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring after Frickadelli Racing's win with Ferrari in 2023. So yeah, Lamborghini on top for me and Porsche on top for David.
Yeah, and just to mention to you viewers, we do these predictions without knowing what qualifying went like and without looking at practice. This is
True.
just of our gut feeling and knowing what we know about history at this track and the teams coming into the race. Um, so nothing about qualifying. We did this as well for Le Mans. We didn't know how it was going to go for qualifying. Um, so yeah, interested to see how our predictions will look at the end of the race if we are way off or spot on. I have a feeling that Manthey Racing is going to do well.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, considering the fact that you and I both predicted them to finish in first or second position, that means that we both predict that they're going to finish we're gonna finish that Manti car is gonna finish in the top three. And the fact that neither of us spoke to each other about predictions, you're just hearing about my predictions right now, just proves that we both think that Manti Racing have a good chance of taking a good result here. At the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. I think we also predicted the number one Scherer Sport Phoenix to finish in the top five as well as the 98 BMW. Remember, viewers, I don't think we mentioned this, but in case we did, I'll just throw this out here. This is the only BMW on the grid this year. Very surprising considering that BMW were so competitive last year. They had a car for the win. I think, David, you mentioned that Sheldon van der Linde had that crash with the 99 Rove BMW last year. We also had, I can't remember the exact team, but the 32, I think it was, the 32 BMW, that was that red and yellow car from last year. I can't remember the exact team, but yeah, BMW to only have one car on the grid is kind of shocking, to be honest, in the SP9 category. So that means that the entry, the 98 car, is the only one that can deliver BMW their 21st win. However, that particular car has a very, very strong driver lineup. David, we mentioned a while ago that there are a few Le Mans drivers that are coming from the 24 Hours of Le Mans and going straight into another 24-hour race week. One of those drivers is a GT superstar, Raffaele Marciello, in that 98 BMW. But who else is a part of that lineup that kind of strikes you as being an important figure to kind of watch out for?
Well, we also have GT3 Le Mans driver Augusto Farfus, who
That's
also did
true.
a great stint at Le Mans this year and last year also, looking strong. I mean, this is just a quality driver lining up. Kelvin van der Linde as well, another driver knowing how that GT3 BMW M4 works. So a strong driver lineup. Finished off with Jesse Krohn. Um, I'm I'm so impressed by this team, and honestly, I wish that they have. I wish for them to have a great result. Also knowing what they just went through at Le Mans,
Right.
having both the GT3 cars out of race, and with their hypercars just struggling for pace. I see BMW being really unlucky this year so far, and they really have to pay for it. That car is so fast, so I see them have a great result. Just to mention as well, guys, I know even though that the 911 Mansa Racing are finishing at the starting at the end back of the grid. We saw Kevin Estre do a comeback ride at Le Mans, and he has done it at Nürburgring as well. So it's not out of contention. And that's the beauty of Nürburgring. It's such a long track, so many opportunities for overtaking. You have to have balls to overtake here. It's such a small track, but there's so many opportunities, and the race isn't over before the checker flag at the end. So yeah, a lot of opportunities, a lot of things can happen, and definitely I see that BMW being a strong favorite as well.
Yeah, for sure. And Grello, Porsche, Kevin Estra, I also believe that he's going to be able to do exactly what he did at Le Mans and go to the front in the Grello Porsche if he is starting the car. No matter who, I mean, if it's the other drivers, Tomas Pryning or Anna Changuven, I mean, it could be that Grello Porsche is going to be up at the front no matter the circumstance, I feel at least. Um, and just one more quick thing on the BMW, the 98 car. We mentioned that the lineup includes Kelvin van der Linde and Augusto Farfus, as well as Raffaele Marciello and Jesse Krohn. But besides the fact that Augusto Farfus and Kelvin van der Linde have won this event before, they've won this event in the past. I think Kelvin's win, he's gotten 2 victories so far, and I believe Augusto Farfus won in 2010. But besides the fact that they've won, these are also the two drivers, along with Sheldon van der Linde, who's not racing here. He's racing over in Watkins Glen in IMSA. Those are the two drivers that won in the last Intercontinental GT round at the Bathurst 12 hour. Remember, viewers, this is a race that's within the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Me and David are covering the Intercontinental GT Challenge throughout this whole year. This is the second round of the season. The first one was all the way back in February for the Bathurst 12 hour. And that event was pretty special. Also including the fact that BMW took victory and a 1-2 result. The black and blue and red car, I think, finished in first, and then Rossi's white car finished in second, if I'm not mistaken. That was the 46. But the car that won, Kelvin van der Linde, Augusto Farfus, they are coming in to potentially grab their second in a row win in 2025 alongside Raffaele Marciello and Jesse Krohn. And the only reason why Sheldon van der Linde isn't here is because he's at Watkins Glen, as I mentioned. So there's a really good chance that BMW can get a very strong season here in IGTC after winning the Bathurst 12 hour and heading into this race with a potential possibility of the 98 winning.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a even though it's a one car lineup, there's a lot of things that can happen, and of course you're a bit vulnerable if your car crashes out and you only have one car left for the team. But with the driver lineup of this car, it's so strong and so many things are looking great for them in terms of drivers experience, knowing how to win here. Yeah, just a great car and great team. So expecting a lot for them. Unfortunate last year and really not the result that they would have wanted, of course, not finishing the race. But I see them having a better race this year if they can stay out of trouble.
Agreed, for sure. I completely agree, and we'll definitely see how that progresses during this race. But I think that's pretty much everything in terms of the 24 hours of Nürburgring. I think we've pretty much covered all the bases. We gave our predictions for this incredible event that's coming up this weekend. And yeah, there's not. Oh, there's actually one more thing I quickly wanted to mention, and I'll ask you, David, too. Where can viewers find this race? How do people watch this race in 2025? What's the main way?
Well, that's the beauty of the Nürburgring compared to what we just experienced with WEC. Nürburgring is live on YouTube with both German and English commentators, so it's easy to go to. I don't know if there's restrictions in some areas of the world, but I know that in most parts of the world you can watch the race on YouTube on the Nürburgring's own YouTube channel. And otherwise, you can watch the watch party. I mean, we're gonna be doing a watch party again, and we had a lot of success with people coming in and watching the race with us. So we hope to see you there, and we'll go into even more of detail with the race, and of course talk about the live action going on as well.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about during the 24 hours of Nürburgring this weekend. David, thank you so much for letting the viewers know where to keep an eye on the action. That is a wonderful thing about the 24 hours of Nürburgring, is that it's very accessible for viewers across the world. Anywho, though, thank you all so much for joining our predictions and preview live stream here. David and I are going to be keeping an eye on the 24 hours of Nürburgring. We're going to be going through a few videos, live streams, all that sort of thing in another 24-hour race week. But until next time, thank you all so much for watching our live stream here. We will see you all next this coming weekend, actually, for the 24 hours of Nürburgring, with a watch party for the morning, as well as a watch party for the halfway distance of the event.